on the stage. He came over to my house about a decade ago. I was sitting on my porch, and he goes, "Hey, you're the comedian. I got some jokes." And so he started telling me jokes. And he goes up on cruise ships. He works on, in fact, the other comedian, Don Gavin, saw him at one of the shows on a cruise ship. He works, very funny guy, and he's from the neighborhood. He's probably the tallest comedian in the country. Please welcome Don Taylor.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Frank again for letting me come up, and Steve Sweeney for opening for me for the 5th time. That was good. I'd like to thank you all for coming to this AA meeting. This is the biggest meeting that I think we've ever had. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. That's tomorrow night. Well, as long as I'm here. This traveling salesman went into this motel, and he asked the manager, "Do you have a swimming pool?" And he said, "Yes, we do." He said, "Well, what are the hours?" He said, "Well, it's 8 to 8, except on Monday, it's closed at 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. He said, and the salesman said, "Why is that?" He said, "That's when we do the sheets." The Hooters have an office in Melrose, and the lady manager, she does away with the all the paper applications when the girl wants to get a job there. She just hands them a bra and they say, "Fill this out." My wife won't like that one. I don't know. About a year and a half ago, I went to get a gun permit. I had to go through all the rigmarole to get it. That was, a year and a half ago, so I figured last December it's time for me to get a pistol. So I went to the gun shop on the North Shore, and a fella helped me out. He got, I didn't want a big long gun in case I had to hide it somewhere or something, whatever. But then I was checking out, and the girl said, "Strip down facing me." And I said, I said to myself, "Well, what do they think? I'm stolen a gun or something?" And I said, "What?" She said, "Strip down facing me." So I dropped my pants, and everybody was screaming and yelling. And she said, "Sir, your charge card, strip down facing me." So I got out of there as fast as after I pulled my pants up. I got out of there as fast as I could, and the manager on the way out, she said, "We don't want to see you again." And then when I was sitting in the car ready to leave, I said, "I'm going to have to start wearing underpants." This police, he was a recruit. He was first on the job, and he shouldn't have been alone on the streets, but they were short-handed. So he's walking down the street, and he gets a call. And the dispatcher said, "Where are you?" "I'm at 15 Keith Street." He said, "Okay, look, there's been a shot at 32 Keith Street. Get there as soon as you can." So the rookie, he gets there, he opens the door, and down the end of the corridor, in the far end of the kitchen, there's a woman with a shotgun. So he walks down to the near door to the kitchen, and said to the woman, "What happened?" Said, "Well, I just washed and waxed the floor. I told my husband, don't step on it. He stepped on it, and I shot him." So the rookie doesn't quite know what to do. So he calls the sergeant. And the sergeant said, he tells him the story. And the sergeant says, "Have you handcuffed her yet?" And he said, "No, the floor's still wet." This 90-year-old man goes into the library up the street here, and he says, "I'll have a cheeseburger and fries." And the lady says, the bookkeeper said, "Well, sir, this is a library." He said, "Oh, I'll have a cheeseburger and fries." This is 3 words that a housewife doesn't want to hear when she's making love. "Honey, I'm home." I shouldn't have done that one. Let me sit down for a second. I'm getting old. I want everybody to get old. I said that a while ago because if you don't, you're in trouble. This fella I know, he was a couple of years younger than me. We grew up in Milton, and he loved fishing, whether it's winter or summer or whatever. So he told me this story last December, and I have a feeling he's getting a little dementia, but anyway. So he said he was on the ice, he dug a little hole, threw his line in, and he hears this voice. There is no ice fishing here. So he's looking around, he doesn't know what's going on. So he moves about 20 feet and digs another little hole in the ice, throws his line in, and he hears it again. There is no ice fishing here. So he looks up to the heavens and said, Lord, is that you talking? And the voice comes back, no, I'm the ice rink manager. Little John, he said to his grandfather who's living with him, can you make that croaking sound that a frog makes? And he says, yes, Johnny, why do you ask? I said, well, Mom says, when you croak, we're going to Disney. Last August, I had a fender bender at a four-way intersection. I was the first in line. There was two cars behind me at the red light. And it turns green, and I started up, and the guy blew a red light coming from the right. He was going so fast, I almost missed him, but I hit the rear fender and the rear bumper. Actually, it didn't do any damage to my car at all, but it punched his the left side and the bumper. And he was nagging me. Here, the police wrote it up correctly. He was nagging me. It was a $900 bill, so he was nagging me to go half and half. So I said, this is stupid. So a friend of mine knew this law firm in Wakefield, and he said they were very good, so I said, well, I got to do something, you know. So wait to get this. There's a family affair with a bunch of sons. The name of it was Smith, and... Right. So I gave him a call. The man answers. I said, can I talk to Mr. Smith? He said, I'm sorry, he just went on a week's vacation in California. I said, well, can I talk to Mr. Smith? He said, I'm sorry, he just left for lunch. I said, well, can I talk to Mr. Smith? He said, he just took a long-distance call that he's been waiting for. And I said, well, can I speak to Mr. Smith? And the guy says, speaking. Just one more. I'll let the professionals come out. The couple, two guys, they're in their mid-20s, they live in the North Shore, they both have a dog. Saturday morning, and they were both coming out at the same time, so they went walking towards downtown. And they said, I think, one of them said, I think there's a new diner up about 100 yards up on the left. I think, you know, let's take a look at it. So maybe we can go in. And the other fellow said, well, I don't think they will let us in with the dogs. So the other guy said, follow my lead. So they get there, and the head chef is outside having a smoke. So the first guy goes up with the dog, and the chef says, I'm sorry, you can't bring your dog in. And the guy said, well, I'm visually impaired, and this is my sight dog. He said, oh, go right in, sir. So the second guy said, well, sir, the chef said, you can't go in, I'm sorry. Well, I'm visually impaired, and this is my sight dog. And the cook kind of giggled. So the fellow said, well, what's the matter? And the chef said, a chihuahua? and the man, without missing a beat, he said, they gave me a chihuahua? Thank you very much. Thank you.
Don Taylor.